Guys, we're going to start in a minute or two. We're still waiting for a few people to get in here. They text me that they're on their way. So I'll give them another 3 or 4 minutes and we'll get started. We will be in command today. We're going to be going over tasks. We're going to be going over opportunities and DocuSign. Today will be the headache day. Forewarning everyone.
Remember when you said that you write your cards and all that? It's funny, that same day, so I don't put that part. That's not, I didn't come here. So when I got home, there was some somewhere or whatever. You couldn't even understand the handwriting. So I'm saying to myself, you were right when you pointed it out. You can't write it. I used to see it in the card and you know, and then skating and because I didn't understand.
Yep, be smart with your advertising.
Handwriting is so important. So if you not, if you don't have a nice print or
Pay someone to do it.
yeah, or stick it.
Yep, pay someone to do it if it's that bad. All right, guys, we're gonna get started. I'm going to, the camera keeps going in and out on this laptop, so I might be on video at times, I might not be. Let's try and reload it here. All right, so today's focus is going to be all in command. So the last couple of days, we've been going back and forth in a couple different systems. Today's course is going to be around the command platform itself, okay? And I just want to go over some, explain why we do things certain ways, especially when I'm asking you to upload your contacts and opportunities into the team account. So that you can see the task lists and the things that I have set up for you and an idea of knowing what you need to do during what stage of that specific opportunity. Instead of not knowing what am I supposed to do at this point in time, you'll at least have a task list to get you through the specifics of what you need to be doing in a specific stage of that opportunity. Because the contract is the easy part. That is truly the easy part. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes that you as the agent are responsible for. And depending on what side of the transaction depends on what you need to do, okay? As a buyer's agent, you have to make sure you're hitting deadlines of when money is due, when the specific time frame of items are due, when inspections are due, when requests are due. You have a lot that you need to do in that aspect. As the seller, you have the same thing. You need to hold the buyer agent to that accountability of when items are due and following up when you don't see specific items. Because if you're out of contract, you potentially lose the deal, okay? A contract is not just to fill a contract and be done. It is literally, all right, here's a legal document saying this is what we're gonna follow step by step, dates on the specific time frame, and we need to hit those specific time frames, Okay, so don't just think, oh, you have a contract and it's under contract. You're not done. Okay, that was the easy part. So I'm going to show you some things to help you along the way for that. All right. These are not going to be loaded. The tasks, we're going to start with tasks today first. These will not be loaded in your system unless you load them, unless you're part of the red label group and you're uploading everything to the opportunity like you're supposed to my team account. I've already loaded it for you. Okay. I'm going to show you on my personal team what those tasks look like, so you have an idea of the steps that I'm talking about, of what needs to be completed under each aspect. So I'm just going to give you an idea of where you're going to see them. Okay, so we're going to be talking a lot about opportunities today. So I'm going to go in opportunities. Let it load here. Okay, so if you have never been in the opportunity screen, I'll explain the difference here now. All right, this is broken down into 3 areas: listings, buyers, and then leases. Okay, it's going to show you what you have going on from a specific time frame of, hey, this is what's happening in your world. You have 10 active, 4 appointments, 1 under contract. Okay, your potential income, use this with a grain of salt. That's what you could be making as GCI. Probable income, it's based off of where you're at in your opportunity pipeline. The further you move over to the right, the more the probable income gets closer to potential income, because that means you're getting closer to closing the deal. Make sense? Okay. Same thing with buyers, leases. It then breaks down for you so you have an idea of where your income is coming from. So if you want to focus specifically around your business, you say, you know what, I'm not a buyer's agent, which you can see I had 2 buyers. I'm more of a listing agent, and I would rather do, for me, listings. That's just my preference. Okay. You can then see how your trend has been throughout the year. What are the opportunities that you have going on? What months were your best, which ones were your lows? What can you do for next year to offset that? Or what do you need to do next year to meet the same units, not volume, but units, so that you can meet those goals. Then if you have any closings this month, it's going to give you those specific closings. I unfortunately have no closings this month. All of mine are in December and January. All right, so let's go into an actual opportunity here. Notice in an opportunity, it gives you who the person is, what the opportunity is, the price, and then there's this little box here. Okay, and notice it says 0, 0, right? Okay, so this is what yours look like if you have an opportunity in the pipeline. Okay, currently that you have 0, 0 task 2. Okay, I'm going to show you a difference when I switch over why this task lists are important. Okay, so let's do this. All right. So notice anything different? O of 8. So I have preloaded task in here. So when I'm in a staging task, I can make sure the specifics are done. Okay. Then some of you, you're probably thinking, oh, what do you mean? Like I got to have a task list to put a sign? You'll be shocked how many agents forget to take their for sale sign with them at a listing appointment. You'll be shocked. Okay. Or it takes them a day or 2 to bring it back to actually do it. It's not a great thing to do. Okay. But there are 8 tasks that I have during a staging activity. Watch what happens when I move him. Notice how I'm moving him in the stages here. Okay.
Do you have to do the movement? It doesn't do it automatically?
You got to do the movement. Okay. Now, under showing appointments, I now have 12 tasks that I need to make sure that are done. Some of them are repeats from the one before, and that's okay, because when you're starting off a listing, sometimes You might be active right away, might not be staging. You might be 100% ready to go. So there's some repeat ones, okay? What this does, if you notice in here, see where it says client update? So if I have selected, and I have selected client updates in the red label group, that automatically, so anything that I check off for the day, okay, and it's a client update, let's just pretend I check those off, okay? At the end of the day, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an email automatically goes out and updates your client. The following have been done to help promote your property sale or to make sure that your sale is going through. Now, every single thing is not a client update. Only certain aspects of it, like when I've scheduled an open house, I'm probably going to update my client. I've scheduled an open house. Okay. I'm probably not going to update my client saying that I put a sign on your front yard. They're going to see the sign on the front yard. Okay. Unless they're not there. Okay. Unless it's a second home. All right. I'm probably not going to let my client know I've assigned a lockbox to the listing. That's for me to make sure I have the lockbox and I know what the code is. And it's kind of a reminder to go into showing time and update my showing time instructions with that specific code. So my client doesn't need to know that, okay? My client doesn't need to know I'm giving showing instructions to the market center. They don't need to know that I'm doing that unless they want to know, okay? But there's a lot of different aspects here that it's nice to know what's going on from a client perspective, okay? I'm going to switch this to negotiate. Oh, I don't want to do that yet. So now if I say I'm moving Mark to negotiations, move this. I now have 8 new tabs, okay? So again, this is like a check and balance for you to go back and forth and say, what am I supposed to be doing? Do I have everything that's supposed to be done? Done, okay? Make sense? If it's not loaded in yours, it's because you're in your personal account. All right, the red label account will have these automatically loaded for you, okay? I need to show you a couple other things in the opportunities, because majority of people, when they go to opportunities, they click on all opportunities. I don't want you clicking on all opportunities. I want you literally going through the pipeline to see where your pipeline is, okay? Because at this point, negotiations, all right, Mark, we're going to be under contract. So I click and I drag it to under contract. And again, when I'm under contract, there are specific tasks that need to be done. I only have 1 in escrow. I don't have to worry really about escrow. I have 6 in inspection, so I need to make sure my inspections are being done. Let's make find this. Are there questions with this? Again, to check and balance, because the worst thing you could do as an agent is get a contract, get the contract signed, get out of attorney review. You're in out of attorney review. You know you're supposed to do an inspection, but that's all you know. There's no other aspects you don't remember. Like there may be times where, as the buyer's agent, you open escrow. Okay, so if you don't open escrow and you don't send an escrow check in with a contract, you're out of negotiations of that contract. Your contract is broken, which means that sale might not go through. So don't just think once and done, and that's it. You have to go through what's due. You need to know the actual contract itself, and the task list helps you do that, okay? And like I stated, there's a way that we can do client updates by just clicking off the client update email, and they receive just an email saying the following tasks have been done on your property today. Every day, they get it at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Okay, there's no way to change that time frame. That's just the way the system is set up. It goes out at that aspect, that time, because WRI closes at 5 a.m. or 5 p.m. Central time, so that's 6 p.m. our time. Okay, questions? Self-explanatory, you think?
This was just about,
Task.
I'm sorry?
Task.
Oh,
How do you get an opportunity to enter it? Go automatically pop there or?
The task automatically pop into the opportunity. Okay, so you have to set the task up yourself in the system. The system doesn't default any task. You have to add those tasks. Okay, and to do that, let's see if I can, come on, computer.
you create the opportunity to do the task?
Create the opportunity. The tasks are automatically loaded once an opportunity is done.
Right. So you create the opportunity first. And
Yep, the tasks are automatically there. They'll just load it for you. Okay.
My
Now, if you're doing
goodness.
it if you're doing it in your own account, they're not going to be there. Okay, you have to add them yourself. All right. So I went through and added all these to make sure that we had task and what needs to be done. And to do that, let's go here. On computer.
the red label, where are we? Like, did I miss that portion? How do we get?
I'm going to show you in a second. Mhm.
Is it way personal to upload it to?
The way you have to do it first is it all comes with contact. So your contact has to be uploaded into the team account and you start the opportunity from there. Okay. If you haven't done that, that's okay. You can still do it. It's not like, oh gosh, I didn't do this aspect. It's broken. You can still do it. Okay. And I'll show you how to do that. So this thing is still in my way because I know I'm missing something here. All right, so up here, if you're in your own personal account, once you go into an opportunity, right, I clicked on cultivate. And I'll just show you again how I did it. Listing, cultivate, I got no cultivation going on, okay? But right here, there's an option called edit stages. Under edit stages, I can then weigh my different aspects and I can add checklists, okay? So here I have my checklist already pre-made up. This takes time, so do not rush this. And please, I have a form I can send out that'll help you through this once you are out of the PC program that we have going on. So that way you can just copy and paste and upload it, okay? But pretty much this is what for my cultivating as I gather the records. So I'll go print their tax tools, I'll obtain email address, I'll obtain their phone number, obtain property address, especially if it's a secondary. I'll follow up with reminders and I'll send a pre-listing guide. And pre-listing guide is sometimes I will send out that listing paperwork that I showed you guys about as production, or what the pre-listing guide that I'll also send out is just a confirmation of a meeting for our actual listing. Okay, so that's how you edit checklists. Again, these are preloaded for us in the red label. I will sign out of this one at the end of this to show you how to do all of that, as I don't have any training opportunities set up in that actual account, just this account that I'm in, okay? So, and again, you don't have to worry about the probability aspect. This is just an average number that people associate with where they're at in a stage. Don't worry about that. This, the whole point of task is really just to know what to do, when to follow up, when things are due, okay? Questions with task? Okay, let's dive into opportunities. So at any time you have an opportunity, and we call opportunities our deals, right? We have a deal, it's an opportunity, all right? The only way to create an opportunity is to do what first? Have a contact, okay? Contacts have to be in there to create the opportunity themselves, all right? You can create an opportunity from two different ways. You can create an opportunity right from the contact card itself. It just says create opportunity. Or you can go into the opportunity little handshake here in command and click create opportunity, all right? I'm going to create the opportunity. This should be, for some of you, this is kind of, it's reiterated again just because it is something you've already done. I know Christine goes over this as well. But we're going to focus on, we'll focus on a buyer, okay? Client name, whoever your client is that you're working with. I'm just going to make one up for me. I need to change accounts. All right, opportunity name. If there's a co-buyer, you're obviously add the co-buyer, okay? There's no option for co-tenants. So if you're dealing with a tenant, there is no option as of yet that a co-tenant pops up, all right? So don't freak out if you're seeing, hey, I have two tenants that are on here. In Command, you can't add it, but in DocuSign, you can, and I'll explain the difference, okay? Opportunity names. It automatically defaults with your client's first, last name first, okay? Then say, what type of deal is this? We're doing a buyer. And then you always add the address. Okay, so I'm just going to do 123 Main Street. So obviously a big opportunity for me. Okay. The next information is all estimates. This is why the probability changes throughout the opportunity time frame. So an estimated close date does not mean that's when you're going to close. This can change and it will change, okay? But this is for you to know your business on when you can potentially have closings in that specific month, all right? So what's the average number of days right now for a deal to close? Anyone know? 90? Anyone else? 45 to 60 right now, okay? 90 is a good threshold to stay at. Right now, it's around 45, 60 days, okay? So I'm going to say January 7th, okay, is our closing date. A little longer. It's almost 60, but not 60, so it's in between. Plus, keep in mind this time of the year, you have a lot of holidays, okay? And a holiday does not count as a business day. And all the other companies you work with, mortgage, title, insurance, they take off on holidays. So just be really smart in planning on your time frame for this. You can change it, but in a contract, you want to be accurate, okay? I'm going to ask you for a budget, which is fine. Commission, what's the average commission around here? Does anyone know? 3? Actually, 2.72. Okay. So remember, you're only getting paid off of one side, right? As a buyer, you're getting one side, unless you have the listing side, but that's, you have your own opportunity for listing, okay? Opportunity phase, I'm going to say we're an active buyer and we are showing properties. Again, this is just for training purposes, so you can see how easy it is to create an opportunity. Okay? So I've now created that.
Can't find a client. Have contact.
What account are you in? Change it to your name. Once you upload the contacts into the team, it'll pull it. But until then, you'll say no clients found. You'll probably be taking a heart attack. Like, what are you talking about? I've added this multiple times. I get it. All right. This is the basic screen of an opportunity. What should I be doing in here?
everything is. Good for-
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I need to add a property location. We're gonna just add. We're gonna pretend 123 Main Street. This says 123 Main Street on the property because I'm doing a fake property, right? We're gonna pretend that's the property. That's 123. Anything else I should be doing in here? Yeah, I should be. I can edit anything I need to on my client side here, right? If I don't have any of their specific information, I can add it. But I should have it as a client perspective, right? Good. There's really nothing else here you need to do. You need to make sure that you start at the opportunity, and here where it says property, you need to add the property you're putting the deal on or the listing on. Okay, because you're going to need that eventually for the commission tab. All right. The next tab over is buyer profile. Buyer profile is only important if they have your app. Okay. So if they do not download your app or have your app, do not worry about buyer profile. Okay. Obviously, we want them to download our app and everything else, but if it's not there, don't worry about it right now. Okay. It's not something you have to stress over or know. The next tab in this opportunity is documents. And this is really where you're going to be spending the most time, is documents themselves. Okay. So this is the normal screen of an opportunity within the documents tab. What's the first thing I should be doing? Already named. Boom. It's already named.
Pick a checklist.
Pick a checklist. Now, I already have one that loaded. Residential. This eventually will change, but right now it is just residential. Okay. I know it says 0. That's because there's no other options. It's just that's all you got. Okay. Pick residential. Now, notice I'm on the left-hand side. I'm under consultation. Nothing loads under consultation. There's no documents that really need to be loaded in consultation unless you have specifics that you like to go after. And what I mean by that is a buyer's presentation, a seller's listing packet. Maybe you have something there you want to load. It's not needed. Okay. Under contract, when I click on it, it changes a little bit. I see items now that need to be a part of this stage in documents. And I can see that where it says required, right? So agreement of sale obviously needs to be here if I'm doing a contract, okay? It has to be there. Consumer information has to be there. We need to have that. And notice everything else, optional, 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 conditional, conditional, conditional. Goes on and on. What they're saying is needed to close from a compliance standpoint. Please note, this does not mean this is all the documents you need. Make sure everyone understands that. Just because it says I have this required and this required, that's all I need. If you have an addendum that's part of the contract of sale and it's not a part of this was separate from the agreement of sale, you need to load that addendum. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that so you understand. All right. But this gives you an idea of what's required, what's optional, and what is conditional, right? Same thing with closed. You're required to put in a copy of your commission check. Obviously, you got the commission check, you make a copy and you upload it. And you're required to put in the HUD and ALTA. Anyone know, does everyone know the difference between HUD and ALTA? Anyone want to guess? Everything used to be called HUD, by the way, your HUD sheets. So now mortgage companies have things broken down differently. So if you have a mortgage, you're going to have an ALTA sheet. And if you have a cash deal, it's going to be a HUD sheet. That's all, okay? It's still showing you the numbers and where everything's going, but just know that there is a difference, okay? And you won't get in trouble if you call it the wrong thing. Please don't think you will, but just some trivial information, okay? And then closing compliance checklist, that's done by Laura, so you won't be loading that, all right? And there'll be a new tab that's added here once you do commissions, DA, which that is your actual check that you're getting paid, right? Because commission check is not what we're getting paid. We owe money back to the brokerage. What the DA is what we're actually getting paid. Stephanie loads that once she cuts you your check, okay? So if you ever ask yourself, where's my DA? How do I know, how much do I know I'm getting? Which you should know how much you're getting before I'll show you all that. But it's gonna be loaded there because you're gonna need that for your tax purpose. You know, you're a 1099, right? You might want to check a few things on that and make sure things are going right and show it to your accountant and whatever else you want to do. I don't know. You might want to do something. Okay. That's the basics of this screen. But we don't spend that much time in this screen. Okay, where we spend time in is right here. Start a transaction, DocuSign. Okay, I'm going to open DocuSign so you see everything. Okay, there's the notification. Every time you open one, just FYI, you get a notification. I just did. Just security reasons. Hope it doesn't send me another code. If you log on to a new device, you'll have to get a password code that's sent to you.
On the opportunity screen, there was like a little button on the top right that said like lost opportunity. What is that?
It means if you have an opportunity that just doesn't, the deal falls through, lost opportunity. Oh wait, clears it out of your system.
Oh, so it will go out.
Yep.
Once you move it.
Yep. Okay. So if you're following along and you're going step by step, your screen should look like this. If not, you can just watch up here, okay? When you're in your DocuSign rooms, there's a few things you need to understand first. You're going to spend the most time in any DocuSign room in the Details tab. Okay. Now, DocuSign and Command have been working a little more cohesive than they have previously. So we're at least pulling some information over to Command. Eventually, everything's going to be filled out in Command, and it's going to be inputted right here for us in our Details tab. But until that, we have to go into the Details tab, and we have to edit the items that we need to edit, okay? Simply by editing the screen. If I'm a buyer's agent and I have a buyer's, I'm putting in an offer for my buyer, I have to fill out the seller information, do I not? Where do I find the seller's information again? Realist or in Paragon. Some people are putting the owner's last name on listings now. I know in Bright, there's always last names on there. Paragon, it's optional. But if not, Realist. I pull up the tax records. I find out who is the current seller of this location. Okay. I'll put in that information. I'll put in the seller's address that is on the tax records. Do I need the seller's email? If I'm representing the buyer? Nope. Do I need their phone number? Nope. Okay. And let me just explain the difference here. DocuSign is not as detailed as some people like it to be. So when you have tenants, your tenants are the buyer and the landlord is the seller. Okay. It's not going to switch. Oh, seller one is landlord one. No, it's going to remain seller one. Okay. And the verbiage that we see. Okay. Not on the contracts, but in the verbiage that we see to set people up, those titles don't change. So you got to use a little bit of the common sense going on. Like, all right, landlord is the seller and tenant is the buyer. Make sense? Okay. So we need a seller one if there's a seller one. We need a seller two if there's a seller two. You need the listing agent. You need to fill out as much information as possible in here about the listing agent. You honestly should fill out everything in here. What their business number is, what their fax number is, what their cell phone number is, their email, their company, all of that. Because if not, you're going to be typing a lot of things in the form that we're going to be going over. If there's a listing agent too, you type in the listing agent too, but there's really nowhere to put it there. Okay. Notice buyer 1 has been pulled over from command, first and last name. If I uploaded their information here with their cell phone number or whatnot, it would be here. I would add their address where they're currently living. Okay. Same thing with buyer 2. If I had a buyer 2. Now notice there's no more than 2 buyers in this screen of DocuSign. Some of you are going to have 4 or 5 buyers. That's okay. We can work around that. It's not a problem. It just means it's a little extra work on the back end. Okay. I don't know why there's not more than right here, but that's all we got is 2. Okay. And believe it or not, you will come into this situation where you have 3 or 4 buyers for a property. Okay. And then obviously your buyer agent is all your information. Okay. I'm not going to go over that so you can see that. Right-hand side needs to be done and left-hand side needs to be done. Okay. The only thing in the left-hand side that technically needs to be done is anything that says required to close. So notice the location box is required to close. Offer details. My budget was $350, so pull that over. I might want to change that. I'm going to go in and make it $275 because that's what we're putting down. Earnest money amounts. I might know that I'm putting $5,000 down. Okay, $5,000 going down. If you don't know that, that's okay. Offer date, it's going to be today. Contract date, well, contract, you're not fully in contract until you do what? Go through attorney review. I might know which title company I'm using for my, who's holding my earnest money. I'm just going to put Atlantic Shore Title. Yeah, because I remember you do not in the state of New Jersey, it's not required for you to have an answer within 24 hours on a contract. So there's no point putting a contract date. It's not going to, and plus we don't need it in the state of New Jersey. It's not needed. Okay. Everything else, I don't know. I'm just going to leave. It's not needed, so I don't need to fill anything out here if I don't want to. Okay. High bid confirmation. Don't worry about closing details. Don't worry about additional information. Don't worry about anything else here. Okay. You don't have to. All right. Whatever I just updated, I'm going to save. So again, I spend the most time really making sure all the details are filled out. Right. So
The earnest money negotiable between the buyer and the seller, or the seller just comes with amount?
no, the buyer will come with the amount that they want, but your sellers might turn around and say, that's not enough deposit for me. You need a bigger deposit. They have every right to say so.
Okay.
Yep, every
And
right.
the agent, your agent can't tell you how much.
No. How much do you want to put down?
Tell you like, oh, it's 1,000 or.
Best thing is that, well, how much should I put down? Let's ask your mortgage rep. Don't push the blame, but push the ownership. Okay. So I've done my details. I now need to go to documents, right? Notice I didn't load documents first. I don't know why we get this message every time.
You know, to get to DocuSign, you go straight from command,
Sign into the opportunity.
correct? But, I know this because I made this mistake. I went to DocuSign. No, and apparently
Doesn't connect.
that, right?
Correct.
I just think that I was on it.
Yep. Yep. Anytime you use DocuSign, you go through command. Secures the actual room. Okay, because this room is attached to that opportunity. Okay, so the rooms and opportunities are connected, which allows you to pull files over back and forth. Okay, but I'm in the documents tab now. Okay, yesterday we went over some of this information when I'm in the DocuSign room and I choose the DocuSign forms. Left-hand side, we have packets, okay? We're gonna do a buyer residential packet. We're gonna be presenting an offer, okay? So what are the items I need? There's no special solar panels, there's no septic, there's nothing crazy going on with this deal. This is a pretty cut and dry home. So what do I need for this offer? What forms do I need? The which one? So buyer's residential, which ones in here do I need? Do I need that?
Don't need it, but it's good.
You're gonna find out who's a good idea for.
The disclosure of business relationship.
Yep,
Mission statement.
don't need it for to do the offer.
Importance of home inspection.
If it's FHA, yes. We're gonna say this is conventional. We're gonna say it was built in 1970, so I'm gonna need my lead base. What else do I need?
Wire fraud.
I need wire fraud.
Yes.
I need the CIS if it's not already signed.
Oh, right.
Uh-huh,
Contract of sale.
thank you. We really need contract of sale. True. Anything else?
Consent to dual agency.
I'll need that if what?
If involved. Or if you're selling somebody else's property in Keller Williams.
It goes for Keller Williams,
What Keller Williams?
the seller and the buyer. The.
You only need dual agency if it's from this office,
Yeah.
okay? Technically speaking, all right? If it's a Keller Williams in a different part of the state, you don't need it. Is it recommended? Yes, because the perception is it's Keller Williams. But you really only need it there if it's from this market center. Anytime I deal with a Keller Williams agent, I throw in a dual disclose just because it's extra to have, okay? All right, anything else I need? To present an offer. All I'm doing is trying to present an offer. All these other things I might need, but I don't need them to present an offer.
Proposal purchasing.
Don't need the proposal purchase if I'm doing the contract. Because I'm doing a contract, okay?
Statement.
Don't need that right now.
Okay.
That's everything we need, okay? We're gonna add them. So everything that's we just did in details should now pull over to these forms. Okay, so the easiest way to see that is if I did the contract of sale correctly, I should have this information and it should be here. Again, I'm not here to show you how to fill out a contract. That's not what DocuSign class is about, okay? I'm representing the buyer in this case. I'm preparing the contract in this case. Please make sure you put your actual name that's registered at the board. Like I go by Ron, but at the board it's Ronald, so I have to have Ronald on every contract. So please make sure that's what you have. If I pulled over all of the information from their addresses and everything from details tab, it'll be right here, okay? It'll all be right here and what we need to do. If it's not here, what do? Fill it in. You want to fill as much as you can in here to save yourself time down the road, okay? And here is the 275. I'm putting $5,000 down as my deposit. Depending on how much we were mortgaging, I would put how much I was mortgaging and how much I'd have to bring to the closing table, okay? How do you figure out that number? No?
Track the earnest money from the purchase.
Something else. So 275, if I'm going conventional, how much money do I need down? Are you sure? You're overthinking it. Who has ownership of the mortgage? The mortgage company. They have the ownership of it. How much do they need to put down, mortgage company? They need 10% down. Okay, and then we're gonna put 10% down. You contact the mortgage company and say, what is it that they need to put down? What have you discussed with them? Discuss it with the mortgage company, discuss it with the buyer, agree on what that number is. You just don't make up the number here. Buyers have to know what you're putting down here because this is a contract, okay? So don't overthink this. Think exactly what do I need to put down? Okay, what is it that they need? Okay. All this information in here, you can see where I held the escrow account that came over, Atlantic Shore Title. So I'm going to select off the title company. If a buyer gives you a check for an escrow account, what do you do with it? No, they write it out to Keller Williams. What do you do with it? You give it right back to them and you tell them we don't hold escrow. We do not hold escrow. Okay. So please make sure you realize that if they ask, well, who do I make the check out to? It's not Keller Williams. Okay. It's to the title company. All right. Are there situations where people will write it out to Keller Williams? Yes. But you need to educate your clients. Okay. You need to educate them. All right. We won't hold it.
Hey, Ron, can I stop you for a little bit?
Yep.
So the earnest money is the money that go into the escrow account when you open that account, right?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm not spending time filling out this contract. What class do you need to come to find this out? Rosalie's, that's what she's there for. She's your broker. She teaches you this, okay? And I can tell you the last 2 compliance classes she has had on filling out contracts, no one has showed. So she only does them in person, okay? And the reason she does them on person is because there's a lot of questions typically with a contract class, and you need to be here in person to see them, okay? And it's a lot easier when you're in person than on Zoom, all right? Obviously, if you're stuck and you don't know how to fill out a contract, I will go through with you line by line what should be filled out, okay? I have it memorized in my head, so I can do it over the phone. We don't have to be on the same screen together. I'll just tell you, go to line 10. Let's look at line 75, which is the principal amount. So you just got to understand how to read a contract. On the left-hand side are the lines, and that's what we'll be talking about over the phone, okay? But my goal is not to show you how to fill out a contract today, all right? That is in the moment, and everything's going to be a little different. But I need you to understand everything on the contract should be filled out. This is a contract. You cannot just leave things blank, okay? If that doesn't say if left blank, okay? So there's parts on this contract that gives you a fill-in sheet, but it says if left blank 3 days. Okay, that's fine. But all of this information has to be filled out. There are agents out there that will tell their sellers, if you're presenting a buyer offer to them, you're putting them with an offer, if you don't have something filled out in the contract, there are agents out there that say, hey, we have a contract, but it's not fully signed out. And to me, that means it's going to be a nightmare going forward. So do your due diligence, fill out what you're required to do. Yes, it might be repetitive. Yes, it might say, I'm doing this offer, an offer that's too low. But if you want to win an offer, if you want to be able to get it in and actually get your client the deal, you unfortunately have to put in the work.
So when you're trying to present a offer for your client as a buyer, these are the forms that you will be uploading.
Yep.
Any offer.
Any offer. Yesterday we talked about the offered purchase, which again, if you take your own judgment on that and when you use that, when you don't use that. But just be cautious with that. Okay. I do want to point out here the addendums. These are not all the addendums that we have, but if you're using one of these addendums, I know it sounds so trivial, but you have to check it off, because if it's not here saying there's an addendum, they don't really have to review the addendum, or you might forget the addendum. But just make sure that if there's an addendum that's here, check it off, okay? Now, there are addendums that happen throughout a transaction that are past contract, okay? There are addendums that will happen for your home inspection. There are addendums that will happen for possibly changing the closing date. There's addendums that could happen that you might change the mortgage or title company. So there's addendums that we use, but if you're going to use one of these to present an offer, make sure these are checked off, okay? And obviously, we'll talk about that when we need addendums and everything else, okay? But I have to tell you, I received a contract this week from somebody that I was shocked was signed off by all parties. I was shocked that the other agent put the property under contract, because we are missing signatures all over the place. We were missing initials where changes were made in the contract. We were missing dates that needed dates. Instead of when is this due, we wrote due in 10 days. 10 days from when? Okay, so I need you to think of a contract and what it looks like in a courtroom on a 10 by 10 screen. If you think of it that way, and you think of what people are going to see and what that contract looks like, you'll fill the contract out right every time. So think of it in an actual lawsuit type of aspect, 10 by 10 screen, and what that is going to look like and reflect on you. Okay. Make sense? Okay. So let's say for the heck of it, this was all closed. This was all filled out. All right. And there's a lot of things wrong here, but that's good. All right. I don't want this.
Can I say something? So, when you were filling out the contract, in the description part of it, would it be wise to say, all the appliances, what other stuff is in the check?
Yep, I put all appliances, but that's more of a question for Ro. That's how she wants you to fill it out. I learned that from Ro, so that answer was a Ro answer. Okay. Now we've filled out all of our documents. Perfect, done. We've done everything we need to do. When we get back from our break, we're going to show you how to send these in an envelope and how to make changes in the envelope. Because I think this is where majority of us get this point. It's the next step that messes us up. Okay, so I'm going to put 10 minutes up on the screen here, and we'll meet you back here in 10 minutes.
So the order of sequence, right?
Yep. Why does it keep saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a little bit of mission. Okay, we're going to. Yes. Okay, great. Yeah.
It's only to get contract signed, but I'm trying to get it for his leave. On that.
Okay,
So maybe
right afterwards, we can do this.
I sent her a copy of it and it wasn't a signed copy. Copy,
We'll look at it right after this. That's fine. We'll fix it today.
and she has to approve my, just to approve my application.
Text her.
I haven't actually got it. When I applied for this, that's been approved by.
Yeah, I would just text her with that one. We'll text her that you have to have that done and to sign off on your listing. So she'll do both at the same time. Oh, gosh.
Maybe I would use your open house.
I actually had a migraine on Saturday, so I canceled it. However, there were people that wanted to see the property, so one of the agents in Brick Team was available and she went and showed, I think 3 or 4 different couples the property. So you just never know.
Yeah.
Just never know.
Never know when that migraine-
I felt it Friday night. I'm like, all right, let me take some medicine, get it done. Saturday, I woke up and I'm like, all right, I can deal with this. But by 11 o'clock, I couldn't function. The light was just,
I've had people with that migraine and they just.
I have medicine that's prescribed because I used to get them quite frequently and I haven't. Yeah, and you can only take so many, you can only have so many a year, of the pills. And then I haven't had one in a long time, so it wiped me out. It wiped me out. It was intense.
Hey, one other thing, I'm sorry, what is this? I want to talk.
Oh, it's if you have questions with anything tech, that me or Christine will be here and answer any questions. Basically what we've been going over the last couple of days. It's for other people that haven't attended the training.
I wanted to talk.
Yep,
Hey, Ron, Dr. James on, I hear it.
I try.
The James.
When Cargo's through this having training, are we allowed to come in for that particular training or is it separate?
I think so.
That has something on mind.
I'm glad you like it, Donna. All right. All right, so right before the break, I said the next step of what we were going to go through with DocuSign is really how we send it out, and some of the aspects that we have to do in a document that we may have forgotten something, we may need to add an extra signature, yada, 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 okay? It just all depends what we need to do at this stage, right? So I know I need to have all of these sent out for signatures. Okay, so every single form here needs some sort of signature or initial from my buyer. Okay, so I'm going to just do the easy functionality here of clicking select all. Okay, so I use the select all function under the add button. And a new menu bar appears here. Okay, once these are all selected, a new menu bar appears. And I need to do is I need to get signatures. So therefore, I need to create the one that looks like a pen so that they can sign it. Okay. So we're creating the envelope. Get into the habit, once this screen loads, to rename the envelope the address of the property. Because once you have multiple documents being sent out in different envelopes, it gets very confusing when you get the email that hey, DocuSign is now available to be DocuSigned. You want it to say the envelope name, so get in the habit of putting the address of the property. I'm going to show you where to do that, okay? I'm just trying to take up some time as this thing slowly loads. All right, so where it says envelope name, it says please DocuSign. I want you to change it to the address, okay? Again, when you have multiple addresses or multiple properties going on, you'll thank me later, okay? So I'm going to call it 123 Main Street. From here, this is the only location where I can change the actual positions of the forms in the envelope. All right. So if I'm sending out a contract of sale, that's going to be the first form that they're going to sign. So I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it to where it belongs. Okay. So contract of sale is first. All right. After my contract of sale, I'm going to put my wire fraud. Wire fraud will go second. After my wire fraud, I am going to put my CIS. CIS will go third. And then it's up to you how you want the last ones to go. I always do any of my disclosures in order. I just like to do lead-based paint and then the disclosure of business relationships at the end. It's up to you. But when you're doing this aspect, you got to think of the way that the client is going to be reading it. And I just think from a client perspective, reading it this way is a lot easier. Okay. So these are all the forms that are loaded in this envelope. Great, fantastic. Okay. If for some reason I forgot a form, I can add it right here. Okay. If I need to, hopefully you did not, but if I did, I just click right here and add it. The next section down is add recipients to an email or to the envelope. If you do not do this step correctly, you're going to spend a lot of time and unnecessary time in the next screen. You should be selecting the pre-tagged roles. Okay. Pre-tagged roles automatically fill where the buyer or seller need to sign or initial for you. So you're not constantly dragging the signature line and initial line. If you are doing that, I can tell you that you did this portion wrong. Okay. So I'm representing the buyer 1. Okay. And I'm the buyer's agent. I'm just going to show you what this looks like. I'm actually going to send it out. I'm going to add selected. So I selected the buyer 1. I'm representing the buyer. The buyer's contact information. I'm the buyer's agent. There's my information. Where did you get lost? So click to add recipient, pre-tagged roles. Good. Okay. So here, there's a few things you need to change. A few things to call out. Every time a pre-tagged role is added, a number is assigned to them. Signing order. Okay. You really should have one signing order for one person, a second signing order for someone else. Okay. So what this should look like is buyer 1 signs first, buyer's agent signs second. Okay. And here we're pretty good so far, right? What you should be doing from here, though, we're not done. Especially if you're newer in this program. I know some of you on the call, you're not in Red Label and you're here just to learn. But if you're in the Red Label program, this is where you need to add me. So you're going to click add recipient. And you're going to click email address. You're going to type in my name. You're going to type in my email, which I think the email for Red is procoach74.com. And I want you to check off right over here where it says needs to sign. I need to view it. Okay. and I'll be your last person you send it to. So that'll go to number 3. So you're gonna add me as an email address, put my first, last name, you're gonna put my email address. You're gonna switch from needs to sign to needs to view, and that's it. So what this does is once your clients have signed everything, once you have signed everything, a copy of that contract automatically goes to me to make sure you're not missing any signatures or initials anywhere. There's no point in me going first because I need to make sure you're not missing any signatures or initials. I won't be able to see that until everyone else is here. Done. That makes sense? We're all good with that? Again, I'm here to help you, so I want to make sure we're presenting offers that are the best offers possible. And if I view it and I see there's an issue, I'm obviously going to call you. I'm going to go over with you're missing this signature line, or you didn't fill out this, you need to go fill this out. Okay. It's just kind of a safety net for you to say, all right, these are the ones. I want to make sure this is good. Once it's done, obviously you'll get notification that I viewed it, and I'll give you a call.
This is just an offer. This is not where Rosalie has to sign off.
Correct. Yep. Because where you put me, you put Rosalie's name, but I would still look at it before Roe, because everyone else is signed except for Roe, which I know she will. I'll show you how to add that person. Yep. It's okay. I helped you with that listing, so I was with you. Okay.
And then, but the buyer's agent, doesn't a copy order automatically comes to you?
Notification that DocuSign envelope has been sent out. Okay. You then get notification when the buyer has viewed that DocuSign. You then get notification that the document is signed. You then get notification. You just constantly get notifications. So DocuSign over communicates. Okay, so you know where everything is. But it's just one of those aspects that it's a pain, but it's also nice so I know where I'm at in the envelope stage. Would you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanna, you to roll back a little bit, you, 4, 1, and 2 receiving?
Nope, I'm third.
So, if you made a mistake, you catch that, but they already received that,
No, only ones that received is your client.
right, so you made a mistake, your client sees it, so now you gotta resend it.
You got to resend it. Yep. There's no point in me viewing it first, because I'm not only looking at what you put on the contract, I'm looking at everything was signed and initialed. Correct.
Okay.
All right, because like I said, I just received the one that it wasn't sent to me and it went under contract, and there are initials missing on pages. There's signatures of buyers missing, and we have the agent representing the buyer. So we're out of attorney review. Technically, I don't have a real contract. So why the other agent on the other end of the deal accepted that, I have no idea. But they did, and I have a feeling I know why. So we got to now fix it. So we're fixing. That's why I want to see once everything's signed and everything before you send it out to someone else outside the agency, even someone within the agency. I want to see it. I want to make sure it's right. Okay. Don't feel like, listen, I review contracts up until probably about 8 o'clock at night. After 8 o'clock, I shut down. That's when I'm shutting down. Really, it's 7 o'clock I start to wind down. But if I don't get to the contract and you're sending at 11 o'clock at night, no, I'm sleeping, and I will get to it when I get the next day. But if you're sending contracts at 11 o'clock at night, ain't no other agent going to be happy to see that contract come across at 11 o'clock at night. Okay. So just be mindful of that. We all have a business and everything else. That's why I try and be available to you from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. If I'm not, I will try and follow up. But just know that I do have a life besides this, and besides selling real estate, and besides, I don't know, I don't have to do the tech anymore. Kendra's take care of that. Woo. So I do have a life outside real estate. All right. So just be mindful of that. Questions with this? Do you understand why I want to view it though? Okay. I just want to see it because I want you to make sure you have your best foot forward. Same thing, I want to see it before Rosalie signs off on the listing, because you're a new agent. You don't want the broker calling you did something wrong. You want the broker to be on your side and to support you on everything you do. So let me tell you, hey, you missed this. Rather than the broker saying, I'm not signing this because A, B, C, and D is wrong. Let me be the one to tell you that,
Do
okay?
we have to type your information all the time, or can we pull it from our?
Eventually, you'll be able to pull it. I'll be part of your room. So where, I'll show you. Let me get rid of this. So like you see where it says room participants, you won't be able to do buyer agents. No, I'm not part of that. But in here, room participants, I will be part of your room as the PC coach in the system. So you'll be able to pull it from there. It's just, we're not set up there yet because I'm not the PC coach in the system yet. But they're making some changes in the background so that can happen. Okay. But you will be able to eventually do that, but I'd rather just show you how to do that now. Add the email address, first, last name, done. And I switch it from needs to sign to needs to view. Okay, please don't keep it at needs to sign because it'll screw everything up. I won't have anything to sign and you won't get the final copy saying it's done. All right, it happens all the time. Please make sure it's needs to view. Okay, that's what you want to do. All right. So I'm going to pretend that's all we have to do. I want to get into this next screen just to show you a few things. All right, you can obviously change what your email address is or your email subject line. I do every single time. I make it very very specific to that buyer or seller. Does not please DocuSign. It's listing packet for 123 Main Street or agreement of sale for 123 Main Street. And then I'll put in the email message. Here's the paperwork that we need to sign off to present the offer. If there's any questions, please let me know. Or here's the listing paperwork that we've agreed to. If you have any questions, let me know. I keep it as simple as I can. All right. I don't overthink it. Okay. Don't overthink it. Because I know some of you already, I know you enough where you're going to overthink it. Don't, just kiss it. Keep it simple. Okay. Make it very simple. All right. So if this is all I have to do, I'm clicking next. And once it loads here, oh my. Our Wi-Fi is super slow. Kendrick, maybe that's something you can do and fix. I never got the option to get it fixed. So maybe if you complain, enough to our meetings, they'll listen to you. They didn't. We need stronger Wi-Fi. All right. It is. So I can tell just by this screen that I know I have 2 people that need to sign this paperwork already. Anyone know how I can tell that? Yep, right over here. You see I have 2 different color tabs. That represents 2 different people. So I have a yellow tab and I have a blue tab.
How did you get there? Mine didn't open up yet.
If you click to next, it should have.
No,
All I did was click next. What's your show? Click your envelopes. Do you have an envelope created?
it's just great.
Right click on the draft.
Right back to.
The screen we were just in, right? Is there documents to the envelope? Could have just timed out. Hmm?
Oh, you see.
Yeah, it could have just timed out.
Okay.
So the next, it actually wanted me to put a same.
That means you need to do pre-tagged roles. So I don't have to do signatures in here. It's already loaded. I'm going to show you. Okay. There is going to be, there might be something in here. I don't know if I loaded them all once I wanted to or not, but we'll find out. Okay. See, these are already done for me. I don't have to add them whatsoever. Okay. But let's say I forgot something, and we're gonna forget something on purpose. Let's say for some odd reason, the buyer's name is not there. So what do I do? How do I fill it in? How do I edit it? Can't right click in here. So here over here is where we can do all our functionalities, right?
Yeah, just go to text.
Yep. I'm not even gonna go to text. If it's a name, I'm gonna click on name.
Okay.
Click name and drop the name. Done. Says full name, but know that the full name, what it's pulling from, it's pulling right here. All right, there's the full name of that person. Okay. All right. If I forgot an address, I'm probably gonna have to text that in. So I'm gonna have to click the text box. So here's the text box. Click the text box, bring it over. So where do I type now that it's a text box? What box? Not the yellow box. On the right. Okay, everything, if you think about everything that we do, is either on the left or the right, because the middle is what it's gonna look like, right? So I'm gonna say 123 Main Street. What else should I do then? There's something here that a lot of people fail to do when they add a text box. So how this system is reading this right now, a yellow bar is attached to the buyer. So what we're telling DocuSign is I'm making the buyer fill in information here, but you just filled that information in. So you have to uncheck required field. Notice now there's no color box. That means it's going to be there for everyone to see. Okay. If you're doing text boxes and your buyer or seller calls you, it's like all these, it's all blank. You probably did not uncheck required field. Okay. So just know the difference there. What that is, it's the required field. Okay. Everything else I'm going to pretend is filled in here. Okay. Notice it drops every single initial that needs to be signed and initialed. If it's not, you did not do pre-tagged roles correctly. All right.
And mine's not tagged.
You're special today, Harry. I don't know. We'll look at it. If you forgot to check off one of these, a point of entry, or yeah, point of entry treatment, you can do the checkbox. There's a checkbox to check it off, right? Click on it, take it to where you want it to go. And then what do I do to check it off? Hit the space bar. There's your check. Okay. Trying to just throw you some secrets of what you're going to need to know. There will be one spot where I have to drop a signature if I did this correctly. And what I'm looking for here, guys, is just to make sure every single bottom of the contract has an initial, okay? Because I need to initial every bottom page, including where they sign, FYI. Witness, ask Rosalie what she wants you to write there. I'm not going to tell you what to write there. Majority of the time, I'm going to be honest with you, it's blank, okay? There should be a spot that I need to signature line that I purposely left out. Here we go. Just all right. So if I needed to drop a signature line, it's as simple as dropping it, clicking the signature line, bringing it over. And if I do a signature line, what else do I need? No. Nope. It's only asking for the client right here. Anytime you drop a signature line, you need to add a date sign line. Yep.
Okay.
Sign. And I put mine underneath just because I know the date sign goes long. It's your preference, okay? And then obviously to Laura's point earlier, I need to sign here too. So to do that, all I do is I go up here where there's a drop down. There's the blue version. There I am. There's my signature and my date. I have now done everything, I'm gonna press the send button. Okay, now I'm not gonna send the button because my dad will be even more confused than he was yesterday when I was testing things out on him. So I won't do that for him today. But that's as simple as it is. I know as you like simple, yeah, right. I go through, listen, when I do a contract, it takes me, how long do you think it should take you to fill a contract out? I wish.
I know it took me a half hour, yeah, like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's your first. Yeah, so I'll tell you. If I'm going over a contract with you on the phone for the first time, plan for an hour to an hour and a half. Okay, and that's nothing because it's just you getting used to the system, knowing how to scroll down and fill things in. Okay, but contracts take about 15 minutes. Okay, once you get through it a couple times, you're pretty good. There is a lot of things that we can do to elevate how to shorten your time through DocuSign, through static forms, which we can do at a more advanced class. That'll help you kind of fill in some things automatically for you on your behalf. But we're not there yet. We need to understand the basics first. Okay. But from here, all I do is click send. It goes out to the clients and they receive it. Okay. We good? A few more things I want to show you in DocuSign that people don't realize. Okay. Let's say your client likes to review everything by paper and don't have an email. We're going to have clients like that. Okay. It's going to happen. Or you are the listing agent and you're getting contracts and you have to get them over to your DocuSign room. Okay. Again, I use DocuSign as my Manila folder. That's where I store everything. Okay. Everything that I need for that transaction is stored here. Okay. And I'm going to show you what I do to create my life just a little easier so that you know what you need to do to organize your business. Okay. So I'm back to the main screen of where we were in DocuSign. We're in rooms. And this is what this looks like here. Right? This looks familiar, does it not? This is where the forms were. So what happens when you start getting signatures back is you'll have the form in front of it now called disclosure of business relationship, and it'll be a green icon with the word sign. Okay. So every time something gets signed, it comes back and puts its place in front of the original document. So that way, if I need to make any changes to the document, I can just click on the form, make those changes and send it out for an update. Okay. A few things that I do here is I create folders in my DocuSign room. And the reason I create folders is you're going to realize this. When you send a lot of things out, you get this certification notice. Like they're annoying. Like I don't need them. They take up a lot of room in my DocuSign room. I store them somewhere. Okay. I store my fully executed agreement of sale in its own folder. So that way, when I pull everything over to command, I know exactly where I'm pulling it from. Okay. So to do that, we're going to click actions and we're going to click add folder. So this is going to be my, I always have one in here called certification. Because like I said, oops, it would help if I could spell it correctly today. You get a certification off of every document that's signed, okay? And I always create one. Well, I've been creating two now if I have a listing. Agreement of sale signed. And the last one that I've been creating if I have a listing is the reason I do one for agreement of sale signed and agreement of sale not signed is because of multiple offers, right? So any offer that I get that I don't receive, that we don't accept, I put in the AOS not signed. The only thing that goes into my AOS signed is the contract that we accepted. Any of my certifications, you get a certification PDF every single time someone signs off something on a document. You can get a lot of them very quickly. So I just store them in certification. Because under room docs, I really just want my forms that I need here if I need any updates. That's how I do it. You don't have to do it this way. You can have 100 documents in here and try and figure out what's what. I need to be organized or I drive myself crazy. Okay.
Just click and drag it to the folder.
You can do this. So if this is it, I can click if I need a multiple of these. There's this option right here called move. It says, where do you want the destination? Folder and current room. What's the folder you want it? AOS not signed. Move. It's moved there. Okay. So it's there, right? The other aspect that a lot of people don't know is you all have an email account for DocuSign, a special email account, okay? And a lot of people don't think this is important, but let me tell you, I find myself forwarding myself from my email to DocuSign automatically because that way I don't have to download and upload, okay? I'm all about streamlining if I can, all right? So first, let me show you where you find your email, okay? If you click on the inbox, which most people don't even realize I have an inbox for DocuSign, okay? If you click on inbox, in this upper left-hand corner, it'll have a DocuSign email for you, okay? You can change this DocuSign email to make it whatever you want to make it. It doesn't really matter for this time being, but let me just give you an example, okay? So I know my DocuSign email is this. I have it saved. I know it's going to go here. All right. This is the room that I'm working in. And let me pull it back up.
The folders that you created, is it just for specifically that one client, or is it,
By room.
folders for?
By room. So I have to do it every time. Okay. So I know my email address for DocuSign. What a lot of people tend to fail to look at is the information DocuSign's giving you. Notice this ID number, okay? And look what it says. It says copy and paste this room ID number into your email subject in order to send documents into this room. So I'm going to show you what that means, okay? So I'm going to copy and paste that whole ID number. Make sense? And I'm going to say, something I can send you all. I know what I'll send myself.
So then you went back to your Gmail.
I went to my email because I received now an email from somebody. So I received the email from, if you've never done anything in Atlantic City, be prepared to receive crazy emails at different times for the same thing, and just be prepared, okay? But this is a PDF, okay? PDF that's giving me occupancy for a place, okay? Oh, why couldn't it view it? Probably because it doesn't have a PDF viewer. I just want to make sure. We'll use this one, all right? It's a PDF. I need this PDF in that room because this is a file. This is a offer that I just received on one of my listings, okay? So I'm going to forward, okay? I know my email. So there's my email. This thing needs to move out of my way. It then said I had to copy and paste that room ID number into my subject line. So I'm going to edit the subject line. And I'm going to paste it. I'm going to send it. Okay. So what that's going to do now is that's going to send that PDF into my room documents for me. You're probably thinking I can just download it and upload it. Fantastic, do that if you want to do that. But let me tell you, once you start downloading a lot of these things, they take up a lot of files really quick, and you're going to be out of space, okay? So it takes about a minute or two to come through, but I'll get notification in my email that an inbound document has been uploaded to your room right through my phone, and I'll refresh and it'll be here for me, okay? It's also nice. How do I say this? When you have difficult clients, or maybe a difficult agent you're working with, and sometimes that difficulty is through text message, than email, okay? You could always, and this has happened, you can screenshot, and there's my inbound document email. You can screenshot those text messages and send them right into your email address as well, okay? They can be loaded as a PDF or JPEG, that takes either one, all right? But you might want to say all forms of communication I'm loading in here. That's completely up to you. They might say you never sent this to me, and your phone, maybe your phone auto deletes text messages after 60 days. Well, you screenshot them, have them, it's in here. Okay, that's why I say this is my manila folder. Okay, so all I did was I kind of resent it in, and look, there it is, PDF. Contract that I submitted, which I have accepted, is now in here, and I didn't have to download or upload it. Okay,
I'm sorry, what did you, cut and paste the ID number just onto the subject of the email?
onto the subject,
Or
yep.
no?
And the ID number changes by the room. That's why we say you log into DocuSign through the opportunity, because that ID number belongs to that opportunity. Okay, so that way I can pull documents right over to DocuSign into Command to upload it. All right,
So just to get concrete, you email it to yourself. You forward. You added an email. Which email did you add? I
the
know
DocuSign email.
the doc-
Yep. So when I forward, it goes to the DocuSign email, because DocuSign, you have a unique email, and that unique email has unique room IDs. And I copy and paste the room ID, and it goes right into here,
It goes right into the room.
right into the room.
So you receive it as a little.
PDF.
Right, in there where your other contracts are, but at the same time, it saved it to envelope, or I'm not to folder.
To my room. Yep.
Isn't it a folder that you created in your room?
There's folders in the room.
Okay, so now you have it in the room, but when that should not go into one of those folders?
Yeah, I'll move it to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll move it. Okay. But you're thinking to yourself, when would I use this? Sometimes when you need like master deeds or like bylaws on condos, it's easy just to upload them all in here and have them for your record. So it's here, it's there, done. Okay. You get this a lot, especially when you're a listing agent. You'll get multiple contracts, and it's easy just to throw them over here to deal with all of them. Instead of going back and forth with things, you throw them in here, you store them, you review them, done. When you have a fully executed contract, you're going to be sent a PDF copy. You're going to forward that PDF copy into your email account, or you download it and upload it because you need it to save it somewhere, and you need to have it in your DocuSign account. Okay. So there's a lot of different aspects you can use for this little shortcut. A lot of people don't realize there's this shortcut, and they spend their time literally downloading and uploading. You can also, from the printers that we have here in the Brigantine office, as well as Little Egg, you can email from the scanner. So if you have a paper copy of the document that you have with your clients, if the buyers want to write out everything, you can scan it right from the scanner, and it goes right into this room for you as well, because it has an option for you to type in your email address and the subject line. So you can do those specific functionalities right from specific scanners that allow you to do that. Questions?
In the beginning, Christine was saying that you have to make sure you upload all your documents. Is this what she was referring to, like upload all your documents into DocuSign, or is it in Command?
Probably referring to Command.
Okay.
So what she's referring to is this. So now that I have, let's say I'm under contract, okay? I can go here, right? Agreement of sale. I can click. Hold on, let me move this first so it's in the right spot. So agreement of sale. Come on, computer, catch up. My agreement of sale that's been signed. Everyone see that? DocuSign, agreement of sale, sign. And then I can just go right down here to agreement of sale. It hasn't uploaded yet. I think it's because it's slow. I'm gonna show you how it's done if the computer wants to keep up. All right, there we go. So DocuSign, agreement of sale signed, because that's where it's stored. Should be able to go down here, and there it is. And now it's there. Okay, so I pick where I'm pulling it from. Is it my computer? Is it DocuSign? If it's in DocuSign, what working folder is it from? What's it in? That's why I make my own folders. Because if I go to room docs, I have to go through every single room doc that's in there, and it's a pain in the butt. So I go to AOS that's signed, and then I upload what I need. I'm going to delete this from here because it's not the right.
If you create one for every opportunity that you have, you have to label it different, the AOS.
What do you mean?
Like in other words,
No, my every opportunity I have has an AOS folder within it. I don't name it something else because the room ID is specific to that opportunity.
there it just pulls the right
Yep.
one.
Correct. If I go into a different opportunity, it's going to pull different room docs from a different room because it's by opportunity by room ID. Any other questions? Today was the overload day. Today was the more information that people get stuck with DocuSign the most. But I can tell you, DocuSign's an easy system. It's easy. You just got to go in and do it. Okay. You just got to go try it. And make yourself fake envelopes. Make yourself a fake opportunity. I keep telling you this. Make a fake opportunity. Send it out to yourself, your significant other, your brother, your sister, your mother. I don't care who you send it out to. Send it out. Get used to what it looks like and the feel of it. Be comfortable with it. Because you don't want to, the first one you send out, you really don't want to be like, well, it's my first time ever doing this and it's going to a client. Get used to what the systems are. Practice it. I have multiple training opportunities in my DocuSign accounts. Depending on who I'm training, where I'm training, I've learned all of this from trial and error. I haven't gone through, I mean, I am now DocuSign certified through DocuSign themselves. But before that, I learned it with trial and error. I didn't get any special training. I figured it out. Okay. It's not a system that is supposed to be the end all of a transaction. It's not like, oh my God, I can't send this out. I'm never going to get my deals out. I'm not going to get anything signed. Stop, reflect. It's fine. Back up to where you were, and let's start from there. Okay. But it's all it is a digital signature format. That's all it is. Okay. You're sending out for a digital signature. Questions?
You said that if you have a client that you can't email it to them, and you have to have it in paper, then print it.
Yep.
And email it, I mean, mail it, regular mail.
If I'm sitting down with them, I'm probably going to be sitting with them. I don't know anyone that does snail mail anymore for a contract besides a title company.
Oh, there.
Yes, because there's so many scenarios that could go wrong with not being there with them signing it.
In Ohio.
That's why digital signatures you can't mess up because they can't sign anywhere else that they're not supposed to. A paper copy, they can do whatever they want. They could just cross things out and send it back to you and like, what is this? Okay, question?
Yeah, what if you have like a special document, like an addendum, something that's not already in the DocuSign within that room? You put that into one of your envelopes?
Yep, you just add it. So right in here, right in my document screen, if I have something saved on my computer I want to use, I just pull it from here. Yep. The only thing that it won't have, unless you create a static form for it, it won't have a template of where people to sign. So you have to click and drag the signature lines and initials. Static form, which we'll go over when we're more advanced on that. That I can show you how to set that up so it does the same thing like a contract sale. So you don't have to keep clicking sign and drag and all that good stuff. Anything else? Anyone online? Questions? It's either I've exhausted you and you're completely over it, or I taught you something and you're like, I got it. Hopefully it's something in between.
Days, 8th day.
Friday.
Friday's the 8th day.
I was started Wednesday.
Yep. Tomorrow is campaigns and smart plans. So we're going to be going over that tomorrow. And then Friday is really case studies and then answering any questions you have of things that we went over. Case study, I'm really going to be focusing on how you're creating opportunities to send out for envelopes, how you're creating, how you're coming up with a list price, and looking at your listing presentations. And some of you might have buyer presentations. I haven't decided yet. But Friday, really, if you can, needs to be in person because it's going to be hard to do that online. I know some of you can't make it. I know some of you will be online, which is fine. But if you can, please try and be here Friday because we're going to put everything together, and you're going to get feedback how well you guys were. And you're going to work in groups, not by yourself. So don't think like, oh my God, I have to do this presentation by myself. You're going to be in groups. You guys will work together and figure it out. Okay. Let's see the chat. I'm going to stop the share. All right, guys, if you don't need anything else, I will give you back 10 minutes, a little more than 10 minutes of your day. Please make sure that you're reviewing some of the information we have gone over because we've gone over a lot in the last couple of days. Again, this is just systems to get you started. So if you're thinking to yourself, I don't have business, look back on what is some of the system information we went over that can help you get business. And know that once you have the business, these systems are there to help you leverage your business. Okay. But other than that, you all have a great day. And I'm here if you need anything.